Great, so a bit of background about myself. I spent a summer at CERN. I've worked on medical devices, some high-performance computing stuff. This is primarily hardware. And then I came to One Fine Day. So I worked on a project called Sherlock, which is a little keyless entry system that allows you to open the doors both for your building and your flat by putting a little box in your house. And then now that's become its own venture. And then very quickly after that, I got involved with the mobile team. So we have a staff app, which is what allows us to run things in the field. When One Fine Day is about to rent a house, we are the ones that do all the logistics between the homeowner and the guest. So the homeowner doesn't need to worry about anything. And what we do is that we take all their things and put them away in an itemized place. And then after the guest has stayed and left, we then put everything exactly as it was. So if the blue toothbrush was on the left and the red toothbrush was on the right, we've got to make sure everything is exactly as it was before. So we have an ontology system that has information about every single detail in the house. Every single house is different. And then we have a set of rules that define what needs to be done depending on what's in the house and also the period of the year. So we've got over 5,000 homes. That means we've got over 10,000 rooms. And there's one way to get it right, but unfortunately there's a million ways to get it wrong. So the staff app allows people to take pictures of how everything was so that the team that comes back, even if it's not the same team, they can review their pictures very quickly and then check and put it exactly as it was. And then we have the tree shape ontology that you saw before, also in the staff app, that allows them to make sure they go through the list properly, and we have that safety net there. In terms of guest app, we obviously know that a lot of people rely on their phone to properly enjoy their holiday, so we gave them a little bit of that. They also get local phone calls if they want to. They can book a restaurant for free. They don't need to worry about roaming or anything like that. And then we also have a guest app that gives them information about both the house, so how to operate the 5 different Apple TVs and Sonos systems, as well as things near the house and enjoy the neighborhood. So now I'll be moving on to the part where mobile and our backend systems were working together in the past and how we thought about it. So I'm going to make it very generic. Imagine you have your own idea and you say, well, I'm really good at this, so I'm going to throw the instructions in the bin. But then very quickly come to realize this is actually a little bit more complexity than you would have hoped for. And this is how you feel. You actually end up cutting yourself a lot more than you wished. And this is the end result, which is something you seem to be happy about, but everybody else doesn't really understand. It's sort of confused as to what really is. So in terms of microservices, they can be very fun, and they have a lot of value to them. Everything's very modular, and yes, if you are very organized, everything can be built and made very pretty, and you end up with something that's very nice. But there's the risk of ending up in a situation where you have the Babel Tower and everybody speaks a different language and different microservices are written by different people. You don't have the right contrast in between. So it can feel a bit like this, where your source of truth is not really somebody else's source of truth, or at least the way to do things. And if you're a mobile developer and the APIs are not the first-class citizen or the first thing that people worry about, it's a lot of pain for you. So when you come and ask for new APIs, you tend to get this. So what happens is that you end up with a workaround on the client side, right? So you don't want to feel the pain, so you add all the logic to your mobile app and client to counteract for the shortcomings of some of the logic in the background. And here's where, for us, serverless came in and worked really well. So we now use API Gateway and Lambda to abstract some of the complexity and also to reduce the amount of networking calls that we do from the app to the backend. Rather than we just do one, everything else happens there. We don't need to retrofit. We can retrofit to the legacy code through the Lambdas, but not in the app. So in essence, instead of the flip-flops, we actually have the icing on the cake. We abstract all the little sharp edges there, and it means that whereas before, if somebody changed the API didn't tell you, you then would have a little panic moment when everything in production changed. But now everybody agrees, and there's an abstraction layer, so you can be happy. From a business point of view, everybody's always going to be in a rush. So they say, why are you going to try this brand new thing? We don't have time. And you probably feel like everything's falling apart in production and don't have a lot of time as well to put it aside. But the benefit is because you do everything in layers and you do everything in small pieces, this is a way to sort of convey the message to the business, say, we're going to try this. It's actually reliable. We can run this in production, and it's very, very useful. So with that, I'd like to leave it to the questions. And if you have any particular things you want me to talk about with regards to how we actually use this in production, both for mobile as well as other pieces, I'd be more than happy to go through that.